this train for this particular interview.
At this particular
Here it comes. Ladies and gentlemen, Warren Foots.
Yeah.
He's going to interview me today.
Okay, welcome to Drawn Through the Rhythm, or welcome back to Drawn Through the Rhythm. We're not laughing because we're just happy people. Welcome to Bubba's, a brand new country club here in Kamloops that actually still plays live music, which is unusual for Kamloops.
I love the train.
And we're here, and we love the train. Speaking of bad days for trains, we're here at Bubba's with Patricia Conroy.
And there's a train going by at this very moment.
Yeah, Jess, we ordered that.
Yeah.
Channel 10, we spare no expense.
Hey,
welcome back to Kamloops.
Thank you. Thank you.
Last time you were here was when?
I was here in June, and I was also here for Music 91, so I'm a regular here now.
When was Music 91?
1991.
Right, last year.
Yeah.
Okay, and what have you been doing since you were last year?
Well, I've been out promoting my new album, Bad Day for Trains. I've been doing a lot of traipsing about the country and singing for various different places and people and having a good time.
Okay, and you also played the Headley Blast in between there summer. How was that?
Headley Blast was great. It was the best festival of the summer for me anyway. Just a great crowd, a huge crowd, and they were all really into it.
Oh, yeah.
And the stage was good, the sound was good, and we were treated just top drawer.
Was this the first year you played there?
No, I played the Headley Blast the year before.
Oh, yeah.
And so it just seems to be getting better.
Yeah,
just
right on.
you know.
And we got one coming up in Merritt next year too, so that should be right on.
Yeah.
How did you feel about? There's a bit of controversy I read lately about Blue Rodeo set and the reaction of the fans there. How did you feel about that?
Blue Rodeo is no doubt a hot band. I think the problem with the Headley Blast and Blue Rodeo was it was a real hardcore country audience, and they just weren't there for Blue Rodeo. It wasn't their audience.
Is there some acceptance though for that type of sound? Like you think of other country singers like Murray McLaughlin for one. Their sounds are a bit harder, a bit more electric guitar based and stuff.
Steve Earle.
Steve Earle.
You know,
for
great
one.
example, great
Rodney
comparison.
Crowell too. So
Yeah.
I mean.
Oh, I definitely think there's room for it, and I'm certainly influenced in my songwriting more and more as all these artists broaden the boundaries and barriers of country music. I think it's great.
Yeah, right on. And the States, are you making any inroads towards moving into Nashville or doing statesides? Or?
Booting down the door. It's slowly opening down there. They're really kind to me down there. They treat me well. There's no problem at all with that. I think they have just as much respect for Canadian artists as anybody else. But the problem is there's so many artists who are down there, who live down there, who are cultivating relationships and getting signed, and there's just so many new artists. It's really hard for somebody like myself to compete. But I'm going to hang in there and keep doing what I'm doing, and eventually I know things will work out.
Well, you recorded Bad Day for Trains down there, didn't you?
I recorded in Nashville. It was co-produced by a fellow from Nashville by the name of Pat McMakin, and I used players down there who were just terrific. So, I mean, I've met a lot of great people, and I've made a lot of good friends, and that's the thing about the business that I love. And I'm sure eventually it'll take me, you know, not only down to Nashville in the States, but hopefully over to Europe. And I just got word that I'm going to be released. My album's going to be released in New Zealand and Australia as well. So
actually, Canadians seem to do real well in Europe, because I remember Gary Felgard was just here. He does all right.
It's a huge market over there. It's bigger than the States. So, you know, I think maybe that's a good way to maybe get known over there and then go into the States.
Yeah. And how do you feel? Well, how do you compare, say, recording to Nashville to, say, Vancouver, Canada? Is there a major difference? Or?
Well, actually, the reason I decided to go down there and record was pretty much what I've told you. Was really just to meet some people and get some interest happening about my career down there. And there's no question the players are just, you know, terrific.
Well, was Randall Prescott who was involved in that album?
Yes, he co-produced it.
The former
Family Brown.
Family Brown.
Yeah.
Right? Actually, he's
producer of the year. He's just a real busy guy, and he produces a lot of people. He did my first album and you know, co-produced on the second one. He's just a lot of fun, that guy.
Well, him and Tracy are doing something together now too, aren't
they? They've got Tracy Prescott and the Lonesome Daddies. Their band. It's great. They've got their first album out on that.
That's good to see. And also, you had a neat backup singer on Bad Day for Train too, a guy by the name of Vince.
Oh no, that was on Blue Angel, my first album.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, my mistake.
That's okay. I'll correct him when he's wrong.
I hear so many records, I just...
No, how can I ever forget that? On my very first album on a major label, and I get Vince Gill singing backup harmonies. So that was before he really broke in the States. After that, it was his telephone number just wasn't answering anymore. So.
One thing I really like about Bad Day for Train is I don't know, maybe just me, I find sort of unusual, but you do a lot of your own writing, which is really neat. How did you get into that, or is that something you've always done?
No, it isn't actually. I wrote very little in the beginning. Yeah, I had about 6 songs when I got my record deal with Warner,
Oh, yeah.
and I believe 5 of them made the first album. So I started concentrating heavily on taking trips to Nashville, writing with established writers down there, learning how it's done, and then coming back and doing it my own way, and working with writers also up in Vancouver. And now it's a bug. I've got it. I love writing, and it's a lot of fun for me, and it's something I do every other day. I sit down and work at it, not so much with a guitar, but just sitting there thinking of it in my head and getting songs on paper.
Well, it's got to be something you're thinking about all the time, I guess, pretty well too, and just as you
Yeah.
get ideas right
Oh
down.
yeah, and when I get an idea, it's a whole production in my head. It's all done, and the hard part is actually translating it to paper and sitting down with my guitar player and saying, no, that's not quite right. Getting what you hear out is really the hard part for me.
Oh, yeah, and how do you feel about interpreting that into video?
Videos are great. I've been wanting to do video for, since I put Blue Angel out. I wanted to do one with every single I released. But finally, with my second single from the new album, I got to do a video, and it was just too much fun.
Oh, yeah. Is there any fear, though, say, interpreting a song into video and getting that set as the interpretation of the song and taking that option away from the listeners?
Yeah, I guess that could be scary. For me, it was just a matter of choosing the right director.
Oh, yeah.
And I did, so I just completely trusted him and knew that it was going to come out good.
Okay. Well, what I'd like to do while I've got you here is leapfrog back into your past history and stuff. I obviously read something wrong, that you're from New Brunswick and you're not actually from New Brunswick.
No, I'm not. But I did spend quite a few summers down there. In fact, probably most of my summers growing up were spent in New Brunswick, Prince Edward Island. My mom is from New Brunswick. And so that's where I got introduced to country music in full force. But I grew up in Montreal, and I played Irish music with my family, mostly ethnic events, of course. And really, I guess that was my basic training, was singing traditional Irish music. So for me, the next step was sort of stay with traditional music. So country music seemed to be the obvious choice for me. I didn't really want to make Irish traditional music my career, so.
Well, it seems to be working for the Rankin family.
Every once in a while I throw an Irish song in there if I get a request for it.
Oh, yeah. What made you make the move from Montreal to Vancouver?
I was just an 18-year-old itching to get away from home, and I hopped on a train and went out to Lake Louise and loved the West so much, and the mountains and the fresh air, just decided to make it home.
Yeah, how do you feel about the music scene now with the popularity we have in the States and in Vancouver, all kinds of clubs bursting at the seams and stuff? I guess that's got to be pretty exciting.
I think it's a really positive thing, and I think it just dispels the myth that this is another urban cowboy thing. I think country music is becoming the pop music of the 90s, and it'll just continue to grow. There's so much talent out there. Even just in BC, there's oodles of talent. I mean, there's Lisa Brokaw and T.M. Harding and Lindia Scott and Laurie. I was going to say Laurie Morgan, Laurie Jordan and Laurie Thane, and I mean the list goes on. Those are just the females, and there's racks of males.
The females are amazing, like Cassandra
Racks
Bass.
of males.
Okay. Anyhow, and Cassandra Bass.
Let me write that down.
Whatnot. It's amazing, just the popularity and stuff. And there's not that much difference between what's on pop and what's in country and what's popular.
No, I think what we need to do now in Canada is really market all these country artists, put some money behind them, and make them stars. Yeah.
I mean, like Sue Medley, there's not a whole lot different from what you do and what she does.
Well, actually, yeah, there is. I would have to disagree with you there. Yeah. Yeah, have you heard her latest album?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say that there's definitely a branch going this way for Sue.
Yeah.
But I mean, on her first album, there's a couple of songs that I could definitely see as almost being country oriented.
Yeah. Like I said, it's not a whole. Well, there is maybe a whole lot of difference, but it's sort of the.
Well, there are different types of music out there. It's not all country related, but there's certainly a lot that overlaps, and that's the beauty of what's happening to country music right now. Is it's sort of take a little bit of rock, take a little bit of jazz, swing, take a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and it's great. It's great for me as a writer. It really opens up a lot of doors.
Right on. Anyhow, I'd like to thank you for this interview. This is great. I hope the tape recorder worked this time. Sorry, Fred. I had to put that in.
And I wish Bubba's a lot of success and Don Adams. Way to go, Don.
Yeah, it's about, I was sort of PO'd when this became a country.
Aww.
Well, as long as it's live country, I'm happy. It was a rock club. It was our last rock club, but it's all right. If you want to support live music, come show up. Even if you don't like country music, show up and get initiated. Because if you don't come on Saturday night, the only choices you're going to have are Kelowna or Vancouver for live music. Anyhow, before we go, I'd like to thank Patricia, and also like to introduce this new video, her sort of old video, which is called...
Well, it's my first video, that's all I know. It's the only one I've got, and it's for the second single, title track of my album, Here's Bad Day for Trains.
Thank you, and we'll talk to you after that.